And I just remember thinking, all of his fingers are gone. Hi, thanks for clicking on this video. If you have no idea who I am, I'm the lady with the crazy 80s sweaters and the hair that just doesn't care. No, in all reality, my name's Laura. Hi, how are you doing? I haven't been making YouTube videos for a very long time or very consistently, but I'm hoping that will change. I have been watching BlimeyCow videos for the last 10 years, I think. I was first shown a BlimeyCow video when I was 18, and it was definitely a brother time one because I remember the whole like... That's all I really remember about it. I don't really remember what happened in which episode that I watched, but I just remember thinking, I have to watch more of these. Like, I have to know how the story goes. And then years and years later, I think I rewatched them last year, and they were even funnier the second time. I love your videos. I think your content is great, and I think you guys approach everything with just such a realness. So this message is specifically for Kelly because I have been through something akin to probably what you're going through. So recently, the people of BlimeyCow will know that Josh had emergency surgery. He injured something called his flexor tendon in his middle finger. And so I've kind of been through what Kelly's going through twice. So my oldest brother, he accidentally cut his hand open with a machete when he was in Micronesia. He had to get a tendon taken out of his foot and put into his hand. I'm a lot of years younger than he is. So I remember him coming home, hopping on one foot because he had a cast on his foot and his hand. And I've seen the progression over the years of how his finger has changed. So I don't exactly know how Josh's surgery went, but honestly, I'd be very interested to see things from Kelly's perspective, because what happened to me and my husband 2 years ago was a kind of similar situation to probably what happened with Josh and Kelly. So 2 years ago, I was an online student. I'm still an online student, but I was an online student in Roosevelt, California, where we lived in our little duplex. And my husband, I'm doing homework, and I am 3 months pregnant with my current baby girl. So I also had my other daughter there because it was my day to have her. And my husband runs in and he's going, babe, 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 babe. And it didn't sound emergent. It didn't sound like it was an emergency. It sounded like, babe, I want to show you something on Facebook. And that's what it sounded like to me. So I kind of turned to him like, what's up? And I just see blood. And he's holding his hand. And I just remember thinking, all of his fingers are gone. Because I knew he was out using a table saw. So my husband was using a table saw to try and create a tool to fix something on his car. He was pushing a board along, and the guide board, the one that actually continues to guide whatever thing you have, kicked out, and he didn't feel anything happen. Kind of like what Josh said in his video, he kind of felt a sting. He looked down at his hand and his thumb was just bloody. He turned everything off and ran inside. And for us, it was probably more of a cleanup process than probably Josh had to go through to go to a hospital. But we had to like put everything back in our garage before we could actually go to the emergency room. So I helped my husband rinse off his finger because I have literally no idea what I'm gonna see under there. And the whole pad of his thumb is gone. That was a surprise. And I just kept telling my husband in the car, everything's gonna be okay. It's all gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. And I was probably a little more freaked out than he was because he was like, I know everything's gonna be okay. Like, he was freaked out, but at the same time, it was like, you need to calm down. Oh, I forgot to say the worst part. The worst part of all of this was I went and found the end of my husband's thumb. Because for some reason in my head, in movies and or TV shows, they'll be like, you have to find the appendage, you have to put it on ice, you have to blah, blah, blah. And so I went and found the appendage. And I put it on ice. And so we brought that with us, and I was like, I don't know if you guys are even gonna be able to use this, but here you go. And they were like, we'll put it in some saline. That might work for some other things, but not with this situation. So when we were at the hospital, they told my husband that he was probably gonna get his thumb cut off at the knuckle just to make it clean and even and fold it over and everything. That's not actually what ended up happening. So another doctor came in 3 or 4 hours later. I mean, we've been there for forever, what it feels like. My husband's holding his hand up like this. They have his whole thumb covered in gauze, and it's just an open wound. It's not gonna heal like that, you know what I mean? So they basically told him, since you don't have any nerves or skin on the end of your thumb, we're gonna do something called a groin flap. And at first we were like, huh? And essentially my husband's thumb was going to be sewn to the inside of his lower stomach so that he could get skin on the end of his finger, probably replace some of the nerves. It took about a week for everything to have happened, and then he got the surgery. His arm was stuck in this strap cast for 2 weeks completely. So he couldn't move like the whole side of his body at all. Like he could turn. It was really hard for him to sit down. He had to lay down most of the time. So I have seen kind of what Josh is going through, because he said he feels really claustrophobic with his hand like this. So my husband had to have that for 2 weeks, and then he was able to get the surgery to get it detached. He still kind of doesn't have feeling in the end of his thumb. He says it's really sensitive to heat and cold, and if he pinpricks it, it hurts really badly. But if he's just kind of holding something, he doesn't really feel it all that much. The doctor said it might take years and years and years for him to be able to feel a little bit more in it. So my husband is still able to work on his cars, work on his, you know, little electronic things that he likes to do. He has a 3D printer. His whole job is about him taking things apart and cleaning them and making sure everything's running smoothly. So my husband is able to do exactly what he thought he would be able to do. And it's 2 years later, which is a small amount of time in the recovery aspect. And Josh, I hope that your recovery goes really well, and I hope that you guys are able to just take it slow. I know Josh really wants to get back to typing and editing and doing all the things that makes him happy and that he's good at, let's be honest. Kelly, kindred heart over here, I know a lot of what's happening and probably how you feel. I was pregnant at the time, and you have a little one right now. And I know that Isaac's probably not gonna remember any of this, but you guys are gonna have one heck of a story to tell him when he's older. Thank you guys so much for your content. I really love your channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you've had something kind of similar happen to you or someone you know, please leave it down in the comments. I love to hear stories. I love to have conversations with people. Thank you so much. Bye.